Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Rolanda Sumner. I'm the CEO and founder of Life After Service Transitional Coaching. And before I get started on my workout, I want to share with you why you might be losing good employees or employees before the 90-day mark or around the 90-day mark. And it has nothing to do with pay. And this is why it may not have anything to do with pay. Just because you offer someone more money doesn't mean they value being in. And though money is a factor, if someone stays or leaves, it's not the only factor, and it tends to be one of the lower level factors in a job. Okay. What'll come first, what people evaluate first, is if they even like working at your organization. Are they getting any benefit besides the compensation? Are they learning something? Is the environment family oriented, or is it solving other needs beside the pay? No one really wants to get up one day and just leave a job. It's a lot. It's like, starting a new relationship or ending a relationship. You kind of sometimes you stay with it because you know what it's like you know what to predict, you know what to expect. And then when you leave, it's scary to start another one. So nobody wants to really leave their job, honestly. A lot of people want to just stay where they're at because it's comfortable. The exception are entrepreneurs, and even before an entrepreneur jumps ship, they're really weighing if they need to leave yet, or can they do both for a while. So leaving a job is a big thing, and there's reasons why people will leave outside of the money. Now, this doesn't give you an excuse to undercompensate your people. Make sure you compensate them in line with their experience, the job you're asking them to do, as well as what is the industry standard. Yes, of course, you want to pay them a little bit more than industry standard if you can, and if it makes sense for your organization and what they're doing. But at the end of the day, it's not. Most of the time, there's other things that play into their decision making, and then money is just the deciding factor. So let's work with these other issues that might be coming into play. The first thing you want to consider is, what is your interview process like? If you have a poor interview process, you're going to bring in poor leads. Okay. So are the people overqualified? Is your advertisement clear and concise? Is it sending the wrong message? Is it sending a message that the environment is different, the job is different? Make sure your advertisement is clear, concise, and it sends the right message about the job, who they're working for, and what the company is like. Is your lead source a quality lead source? Think about that. If your lead source is poor, it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to still get poor leads. So evaluate your lead source. Who's bringing you the people? How are they bringing the people to you? Okay. And are your leads quality? Now, just a second ago, I mentioned overqualified. And I don't like that phrase, but there is a reason why it exists. You generally want to hire somebody who knows how to do the job and pick up the task quickly, but they have a little growth, that there'll be a little growth in that job. So hiring somebody who's 100% qualified is a mistake, because this person's going to be bored. They're not going to grow in that job. They're not going to learn anything, and they're going to look for something that's more challenging or something that is more exciting. Okay. So you want to hire somebody who has room to grow in that job. Okay. If you're hiring somebody who's over 80% qualified, you might be getting somebody who's potentially overqualified. And overqualified means that they know how to do the job. They've done it with their eyes closed, and now they might be bored. In the interview process, ask them key questions, particularly if they're going from a management position and they're coming down to a subordinate position. Be clear. Ask them key questions. I noticed you used to be in management, which means that you had some decision-making powers. In this position, you're not going to have any decision-making powers. How are you going to behave in that way? How does that feel to you? And listen to their answer. They might say, hey, absolutely, I want this, I want this. And they might genuinely mean it. They may not want any responsibility or a management type responsibility, but you have to read them. You have to read between the lines. What is their body language? How are they answering their questions? What is your gut instinct telling you? Okay, it is okay to hire someone who might be technically overqualified because they just might want something slower. But if you do that, you have to understand what they're looking for. If they're just looking for a job, then guess what? You're just going to get somebody to fill the job. If they're looking for a long-term relationship and career with your organization and they just want to kick back a little, but they want to share their information, then guess what? You have somebody who might be a keeper, might stay for a long time, and might be a great fit for your organization. The one way you can work with this is work with a temp agency. Don't do the hiring yourself. Work with a temp agency, tell them exactly what you're looking for, what your pain points are, what has happened for you to come to the temp agency, and then let them help you. Temp agencies are great because they have a lot of good talent, but you also get to see if someone else is a good fit. If the first person's not a good fit, say, hey, I need someone else. And that takes some of the load off of you from having to advertise it, from having to find someone and vet them. They'll do a lot of that heavy lifting for you, and you get to do the next part, which is an onboarding. Do you have an onboarding process? If you don't have an onboarding process, I highly suggest you develop one, and I can help you with that. But an onboarding process is pivotal. It helps indoctrinate a new employee into your organization so that they become part of the culture, so that they understand why their work is important to the grand scheme of things. It helps them get to know other people. It helps make them a part of the team. And if you don't have an onboarding process, and an onboarding process is not just handing them HR paperwork and running away, it's a whole process of bringing the person in, getting them trained, getting them a part, making them a part of your culture, and that takes time. If you don't have an onboarding process, then you're just sticking a person in the seat and hoping for the best. And guess what? Hiring people is an investment of your time and of your money. It's an investment for them because they are taking their time and hoping and praying that this is a good fit for them. Okay. If you do have an onboarding process, reevaluate it, look at it carefully, ask questions, get feedback on your onboarding process. Are there holes in the onboarding process that you didn't account for? Is it a weak onboarding process? Is it really non-existent, but you thought it was? Look at your onboarding process to see how efficient it is, how effective it is. Clearly, it's not effective if you got people running out the door. Get feedback, learn about how you can make your onboarding process better. And the last thing that people always overlook, nobody ever wants to do the inside work, is looking at yourself or your management team. It might be you or somebody on the leadership team. It just might be. Ask questions. On the exit interviews, go to HR and be like, hey, why are people leaving? What are they saying when they leave? And listen. Ask your subordinate managers, what do you see in my leadership? And allow them to answer you honestly. If you don't feel like they're giving you the whole truth, then guess what? It's definitely you. It's definitely you. Because you want your team to feel comfortable giving you open, honest answers respectfully. And if they don't feel comfortable giving open, honest answers, it's either because your role is really high up on the chain and they don't feel comfortable doing that, for which case you need to find some advocates or a mentee who can filter some of that information up, a mentee at a lower level who does have access to that information, who can give it to you. Or if you're not that high, how do you respond to your employees when they do something wrong or they mess up? Are you professional? Do you gossip? Do you have a nasty attitude in general? Are you unhappy with your life? Are you unhappy with your job? Do you show people your stress? How stressed you are all the time? These are things that contribute to someone wanting to leave you. Do you need coaching? I can help you with that. And is your life a good life? Do you have a lot of stressors? Let's look at all of that. Okay? Look at all of that. These are reasons why people might want to leave. Okay? One, they may not be a good fit for the position to start with. They know it. You know it. Two, your onboarding process was poor and now they don't feel like they're a part of the community. They don't feel like they have a purpose. They hate their job. And three, it might be you. People stay because they feel like they're valued. And if you make them feel unvalued, then guess what? They're going to leave. Particularly, this is especially so if you have employees who are leaving with little to no notice. They're giving you less than 2 weeks notice. They're giving you no notice at all. They're just calling in and saying, I'm never coming back. Throw my pictures away. They're literally saying, I don't need a check. If that's happening, particularly because people aren't working because it's fun, you got a problem. Look at you and what's happening. So if you need help with this issue, get in contact with me. Post a message below. You can PM me or you can email me at info@lifeafterservicecoaching.com. And I'll be here to help you. Have a great day.